What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Spectators. 187 on this fine Monday. The end of May. Memorial Day is coming up next week already. What a speed of which this year is going by. It's kind of crazy. The NBA Finals are around the corner, and we already know who's going to be in it without those series being over. It is an absolute disaster class of a conference finals. I'm here with Brooke, as always. What's going on, brother?
Yo. Chilling, man. Like you said, this year, moving and grooving, bro. Just trying to take it all in with everything going on. It's been fun. This finals, this conference finals hasn't been fun for a couple of teams.
Yeah, at all.
It's actually looking like a disaster class, like we've been calling it.
Dude, it is not good. And it's been a really good playoffs in general. So
It has.
it's pretty disappointing to see these be as non-competitive as they've really been. But before we get into the games and going over all those, we did get a very sad retirement today, especially for us. I know a lot of maybe
Yeah.
younger people don't care at all, and that's fine. I don't really care about you for this moment. Carmelo Anthony, one of our favorite players of all time, Syracuse
Yeah.
legend. He got the jersey hanging up. I got mine right here. He did put a video out today, a pretty good, well done video as well. Pretty much announcing his retirement from the NBA. Just talking a little bit about his career and how his legacy will always live on through his son. And that was pretty cool. It was a very, like, I was sad, but I was like,
Yeah, I didn't expect to wake up this morning and just get in my feels, but the way they did that video showing everything, and especially having his son in there highlighting that. Man, Melo's a goat, bro. However you want to look at it, yeah, he don't got the rings to show. The points are there, and I mean the back end of his career was probably up there with as bad as you can go out,
yeah,
unfortunately. But it wasn't necessarily his fault. Like it was some bad situations. Like he heads up in OKC, and it's like Portland was cool.
yeah,
Portland was cool, and I felt like if they could have figured stuff out, it could have kept on going. But you go from OKC to LA and Houston, it's like,
yeah. And then there was just 100% an opportunity for him to play on the team and help out a team. Didn't wind up happening. He doesn't play
yeah,
this year. But he gets to go out on his own terms still and ride off into his own sunset, knowing that he is an all-time great. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, one of the
yeah.
greatest forwards ever to play the game. Despite the no MVPs, despite the no championships, like it's all still there. 6-time All NBA, 10-time All Star, 3-time gold medalist, an NCAA champion, a scoring champion. He ninth all time in the NBA in scoring, ninth all time,
Yeah.
and in the
So
NBA 75th anniversary team. So a guy that's gonna get overlooked and he's top 10 in scoring. Kind of crazy how that goes.
it's wild, bro.
But so stay mellow, one of the greatest, and I'm happy that he was able to play for two of my favorite teams. Like that's kind of a crazy thing too, college and in the NBA.
Yeah, no doubt. It was wild. And I'm gonna definitely miss those days with Melo, especially back when he came up with the Nuggets, when you had him, JR, all the boys, like ooh,
He
I
was
love it.
always a really fun player.
That's honestly what really got me into basketball and big reason why Melo ended up being one of my favorite players.
Yeah, it's you know the NBA is great about being like a player sport. It's so easy that, oh yeah, I still like this team, but I can gravitate towards a player. It's so easy to do just because teams don't play that often, and you're watching a game and you just see a guy dominate. You're like, man, that guy's like tantalizing. Like he's like a polarizing figure. I want to watch that. And Melo was one of those guys. So uh,
For sure.
congrats on the great career. I don't know when he'll get into the Hall of Fame, but it'll be sooner than later, and I'll be really excited for that opportunity. Also, the greatest USA national team player ever, him and KD now. So, two goats in that regard, and I appreciate that. But yeah, I
Hey
mean,
Melo.
stay mellow, and he did it right before the finals, which is great because he never made it to the finals. So I appreciate him. I appreciate him, even in retirement, knowing his lane. I appreciate it. I really do.
Not the slander.
It's not slander. It's factual. If it's slander, it would have been false. Okay. It's okay. We appreciate him regardless. Which of these two absolute messes of a conference final do you want to start with? Because I'm really angry with both for different reasons. For very different reasons.
Let's start out west because that's the one that's least surprising.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start out west. Denver Nuggets with the 2-time MVP and probably should have been 3-time MVP. Clearly, as we're seeing in these playoffs, it's a shame. It's not like a playoff included award sometimes, but it is what it is. The Denver Nuggets were the third best team in the entire regular season in the all of the NBA. They were the 1 seed out west. They dominated the Timberwolves. They dominated the Suns. And now here they are with a 3-0 lead against LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Clippers wouldn't be here. And listen, there's a lot of things that the Lakers could have done better in this series. LeBron looks old. He looks a little...
He does.
And it's not like old, like he looks bad. He just looks like he's not being as aggressive. He's clearly deferring at times. And it kind of makes sense because Denver is a team that scores so much and they play with pace and they move so often and they're going up and down the court so much that, like, when you're playing 40 minutes a game like LeBron is, you're just gonna be tired. And you know, we've mentioned it before, but all of these years and years and years of playoff runs over and over and over again, it catches up to you. He's playing 41 minutes a game right now. And he's actually playing pretty well, too. It's not like he's not playing well. He's just not shooting great. 15% from 3 in this series. And I know he's been bad all playoffs from 3.
Tough.
So that's like a big portion of what's happening. He's like causing less spacing just by being a terrible shooter right now. So that's really tough, which obviously him shooting poorly makes it more difficult to score in general because now he can't get to the paint because you can kind of slack off a little bit on the perimeter.
Yeah, you know if he's not pulling it, he's just going to drive.
Yeah, and so that's obviously difficult for LeBron. Again, he feels like he's taking a step back. Listen, if taking a step back for this old man now is him putting up 23.7, 10 assists, and 9 boards, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. If you were getting that at a Jaylen Brown, the Celtics wouldn't be down 3-1 right now. So it's not LeBron's fault. What it really comes down to is this team, they have a lot of pretty good players, but they don't really have anybody that can take over the game when Anthony Davis isn't on.
And if your name isn't LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, or Rui Hachimura, you're not doing anything. Where are you?
Anything.
Where are you?
Anything.
You're getting nothing.
D'Angelo's been horrible.
1 for 8. He had 3 points. Vanderbilt, 2 points. Like, Dennis Schroeder and Lonnie Walker combined for 4 shots.
D'Angelo is shooting 29% in the conference finals. 29%. They got him to make buckets. Like, that's the reason they went and traded for him, to go get a bucket. And so that's been pretty tough. Ruri's actually played fantastic.
Yeah.
And Ruri is the ultimate, like, situation kind of determines, like, stuff in the NBA. Like, you can become a infinitely better player, kind of like what we saw with Bridges out in Brooklyn. Like, just your situation changes everything. Ruri's been pretty good, but now it becomes a 4-man team. And the biggest issue that Denver has posed to everybody in the league is that they are the deepest team in the playoffs. That's been their biggest thing. They are the deepest team in this playoffs. They have 8 players. They can run 17 or more minutes out there every single game, and that doesn't happen on championship caliber teams too often. It usually runs down to a 6-7 man rotation, and one of those guys are still playing poorly or playing off, right? And you kind of have to make up for it a little bit. The Nuggets are, and have been for the last month and a half, firing on all cylinders, despite every now and then you get, a clunker from Jamal or
Yeah.
there's some games Aaron Gordon's not like showing up, which is fine. If I would have told you that coming into this series that Aaron Gordon would be the 6th highest scorer for the Nuggets, you would have think they're getting smoked out of the gym. And that couldn't be further from the case. Bruce Brown's providing great minutes.
Shout out Bruce.
Michael Porter Jr. had 6 assists the other day. Do you know how crazy that is? That boy doesn't pass. He never looks to pass that ball. He is a shooter. And he's even buying it,
baby,
and throwing out some assists and getting some people open looks.
Yeah, they're getting support from everybody. That's the thing. Like, again, outside of the 4 names I mentioned with the Lakers, you go down the list and you're getting it from everywhere on Denver. So it's like, how are you going to compete with that, bro? LeBron's not out here putting up 35. So what are you going to do? Where are you getting these 15 points that you're losing by?
You ain't.
You're not.
You ain't.
You're not.
And one of my biggest issues coming into this series, and I heard about it a lot on Twitter and just like in places where I've been talking to people about this series. I heard a lot about Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis. He's been coming into this series one of the better players in the playoffs. Defensively, he's been the best player in the playoffs, right? And then he's had a couple dominant offensive games. So the narrative that I was hearing was Anthony Davis is not going to get stopped defensively, and he's going to stop Jokic or slow down Jokic or whatever their verbiage was, right? If this is slowing down Jokic, this is the scariest player I've ever seen. He's going 27 on 52.3%, or shooting 45% from 3. 52% from the field for Jokic is very bad. This is a 60-65% shooter. He is efficient. Like, that is what his game is being efficient. And he hasn't been as efficient in this series, and he's still just making this offense run. Because it's not all about him shooting sometimes. And they got guys around him. And I think that's maybe part of the problem. Like, as a Lakers fan, you're probably like, oh, KCP, he was a bum for us. Yeah, because you guys were asking him to, like, go up the court and, like, handle the ball and, like, run a pick and roll when, like, LeBron didn't feel like it. That's not who this guy is. And so
Jokic is just making the case. Like we came into these conference finals. Which person is going to set the legacy for themselves?
And listen,
just making that case.
And listen, LeBron doesn't have anything to lose in this.
No, and that's why he wasn't in the conversation for that.
He has nothing to lose for this. Anthony Davis has played pretty well, but Anthony Davis is now becoming this guy that is inconsistent. And that's a thing.
No.
He looks horrible and lost in some games. And then some games he looks like prime Shaq. It's genuinely like kind of baffling. Like, I don't know if it's in his preparation or just like he kind of rolls in one game and thinks the next game he doesn't have to like go all hard because like it's coming easy. I don't know. But I don't want to discredit the Nuggets in this. I don't think this is a Lakers fumbling of any sort. I think the Nuggets are just that much better. They should be up 3-0. Yeah. I think they're just a better team at every single position on the court. Besides whatever, like LeBron's better than obviously whatever forward you're talking about. But like, it's a deeper team. They're better coached. They have guys who perform in the playoffs. Jamal Murray performs. And again, he has clunkers. And he comes back and then he drops 40. He put up 30 in the first half of game 3. 30.
Wild.
And then he slowed down. He only wound up with 37, but like they didn't need any more. So.
Yeah, they're already dead. What are you going to do?
Listen, this series, I think we said it last week. I thought it was going to be 5 games.
I
don't
still
think
do.
I.
I still do.
There's no gentleman's here. This is over. I mean, obviously, both of these series are over, right? I'll eat a shoe if one of these teams down 3-0 winds up winning this series. I'll find a shoe and start chomping.
No,
But
neither are winning, but I do think, and I could almost confidently say that they'll both get a game. I don't think we're getting two sweeps. I really don't. Like, how are you guys gonna go out like that? How? How are you both two of the best teams in the playoffs, and you go out like that to a 7 and an 8 seed? How? There's no way, bro.
listen,
There's no way.
listen. Shout out to the Nuggets because they have come into this playoffs and, like I said, dominated.
Yeah.
They mopped up the Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Anthony Edwards because Anthony Edwards is the only guy, him and Devin Booker, are the only guys that have been consistently able to score on Denver, which is crazy because they're not even like this tremendous defensive team by any means, right?
Yeah.
They're an okay defensive team. They're pretty good. They score incredibly efficiently. But they've steamrolled everybody. They were the 1 seed. They've come in. They've steamrolled everybody. And even if this series goes 5, they steamrolled it. Like that game 4 is going to have to happen where you're getting 36 from Anthony Davis. LeBron's giving you 28. You're going to need Hachimura on 14. Austin Reeves to give you 20. And like you're going to need the ball with like 45 seconds left and a 2-point lead and then get fouled and then win it that way. That's how they're going to have to win a singular game. It's going to be like a dog fight. I'm fighting for my life type of a game. And then game 5 is going to happen and Denver's going to win by 22.
Yeah.
Jokic is going to put up 24, 16, and 12 on like 70% shooting. And we'll be like, no, okay. They're probably going to dog walk the finals too, if we're being honest at this point.
Yeah. Because we could go ahead and move on now. We don't got to stay on this dead horse no more.
No.
But even with the Heat playing the Nuggets and how great their run has been, I don't see them being able to bring the Cinderella past Denver. I really don't.
You know what really sucks is that this Miami Heat team, this isn't even a Cinderella at this point. They've been to 3 conference finals in the last 4 years. They've been to the finals back in 2020. So this is not a team that like realistically we should be surprised is at this point. I just think coming into the season, we saw the moves that they made, which was nothing, and we're like, you guys just lost in 7 to the Celtics. They get another year of experience. In what world should you guys just assume that bringing this same core back runs it back and like you win game 7 next time, right? Like that was how my mind was coming into the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't make moves at the trade deadline, and they went and got some buyout players, which buyout players never are helpful. But here they are. They get Kevin Love, who's been fantastic in the minutes that he plays, and he's providing so much veteran and like leadership from obviously those Cavaliers days. Cody Zeller has been pretty decent in the minutes that he's played. 2 buyout players. They have 4 undrafted guys that are just balling. And Jaylen Brown said it best after the game last night. He said, these guys, I'm not saying it verbatim. I don't remember the exact quote. But it was pretty much, these guys are playing above their means. And they're balling. And we can't stop them. We need to be better. Which pretty much translates to, we are a more talented team. We're a better team. But they're just playing insane.
Yeah, when you got guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, and Caleb Martin going off on you, like, what are you going to do? Gabe Vincent had 29 on 11 for 14 shooting and 6 for 9 from 3. What are you doing? Jimmy had 16. Jimmy wasn't even a dog in this game.
Caleb Martin is shooting 63% in this series. And he's almost putting up 20 a game.
It's nuts.
What?
Absolutely nuts, bro.
Like, that is remarkable. Caleb Martin is scoring more than Jaylen Brown. He's scoring more than Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
Like, how do you prep for that coming into the series? You don't. And I mean, listen, this Heat team has been great. They're shooting lights out right now. I don't know, but here's my biggest thing. The Heat have been fantastic, and they deserve this 3-0 lead. This series is a complete and utter indictment on everything that the Celtics have created with this team. Because they are a defense-first team that has lost their defensive way. I don't know if it was the head coach switch. Obviously, they had head coaching stuff with Ime, and he can't keep his hands to himself, and that became a whole issue. So they scramble. They get a new head coach. This team, really in the playoffs, has shown just absolute lapses defensively. And if you watch the third quarter yesterday or whenever this game was, they weren't playing. They were not playing. They weren't switching. They weren't they were late to every single switch. If Bam went into the paint, it was like, oh no. Jesus has arrived. They were acting like Bam was prime Boogie Cousins. That's how it feels like every time he's in the paint. And it's the way that the Heat are attacking their defense, obviously. And that's game planning. And the Celtics clearly don't have that game plan going on. But Jaylen Brown, maybe he's just sick and tired of being sick and tired and doesn't want to be here anymore. I don't know. Jason Tatum is not beating the not clutch narrative.
And that brings up a good question, because if they do get swept, which still a very good possibility. With
the way they played in the second half yesterday, they're getting swept. They don't want this. Yeah. They don't care.
I confidently feel that it's 5 for each, because again, just with the caliber of players that you got, how do you let yourself get swept this far in? How? There's got to be something that clicks. But I do feel it's still very much a possibility. Now, what happens with this core on the Celtics team if they do get swept in the conference finals? Are you moving somebody, or are you blowing it all up? Are you
don't blow it up? Are you
still riding the horse?
You have Jason Tatum, you don't blow it up. But what winds up happening, and there's been rumors the whole second half of the season, is that Jaylen Brown wants to leave. And he's a free agent after next season. So he's still got one more year. He's looking for an extension. Jaylen Brown's going to get the max. He can actually officially now qualify for the Supermax. He was All-NBA second team or third team this year. I don't remember. So he's a Supermax player now. He's a Supermax player now. The Celtics are going to have to look at this and be like, man, it's the second playoffs in a row. You haven't really been that good. And I don't know if it's your dichotomy with Jason, which I've always felt like they're conflicting players. I've always felt that way, because Jason obviously needs the ball. Jaylen kind of needs the ball. I don't know. I think Jaylen wants to leave. I don't know where. We've heard rumors of Houston. That doesn't work because he's going to have to get traded. So what has to happen is, if you're the Celtics, you have to trade Jaylen Brown and whoever else you can kind of get rid of and upgrade. Because this is a win-now roster. So you have to upgrade. Who is out there that can upgrade? Kevin Durant's now on Phoenix. He's off the table. You're not going to bring back Kyrie Irving. That's not happening. Luka's not getting traded.
No.
So who's out there that's better than Jaylen Brown, that's even in the conversation of being traded? Damian Lillard? How do you make that happen?
Yeah.
You got to trade Jaylen and 4 firsts. How do you make that happen? Because as great as Jaylen Brown is, and he's a stud in this league, he's no Damian Lillard. He's just not. There's levels to this, and he's not Dame. So what do you do to make this team better? That's your question. And it has to be that level of trade, because they looked pretty bad against Philly. And they had no reason even being in the situation they were in, down 3-2 to Philly. And maybe this is like prisoner of the moment, but this team is healthy. They are healthy. They are young still.
Yeah, I do feel it's a little bit of that. But again, like, you guys have been together, and there's nothing to show for it.
They've been the one finals. Like, at some point, this gets to be looked at as a failure because in the NBA, all we ever care about is championships, right? It's annoying, but it's the way it goes. It's all we ever care about. The Celtics core has been to the conference finals 5 times already. Only one championship appearance. And they kind of got mopped in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, and they got, and here's the crazy part too. They lose to a Warriors team. The Warriors were fantastic last year. It's the same team that came out this year pretty much. And they didn't look so great. Like, obviously, they got Clay back. It was a shot in the arm, and they were ready. I think we've seen the best that this current constructed roster can present.
And that's why I do feel like they blow up the core. They don't blow up the whole team, but they blow up the core. And they waited off of Jason Tatum. So they keep him.
Yeah.
They try to move Jalen, maybe even try to move Marcus, and just kind of forget about the core, build off of Jalen. I mean, not Jalen, I'm sorry, Jason. And see what happens, because whatever has been happening isn't the way to go. Isn't the way to go. And how long do you keep on trying to push it?
At what point is it insanity, right?
Yeah, because now you're just torturing your fan base and your organization by trying to make this trio work that just hasn't. They've had every opportunity to. So what's going to change in the future? They've been good teams. In fact, great teams. Like, again, when they had Ime, they were one of the best, if not the best, defensive team in the league. That should have brought them. It didn't. You got great scorers on your team. That should do it. It doesn't. So, again, at what point are you going to do it? Like, you're not going to retool the whole roster and get deep like Denver. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that was years of drafting and, like, good moves that kind of made stuff work.
Like, you can't bank off of having 8 good players on your team. You can't do it.
No.
You better hope that
That's
you get
why
3.
Denver is so special. It doesn't happen.
No. So it really comes a point where you just got to say, all right, this ain't working. And if you can't, you're handcuffing yourself even more. So good luck.
Who should they go after? Off the top, like, who is Jaylen Brown have to get traded for? Because that's what's going to happen or should happen.
Yeah.
And, like, who could they even make that happen with? Like, a guy off the top of my head that would be great, I feel like, would be like a Paul George. But, like, that's not happening.
It's not happening.
And there's a lot of downgrades, right? Like, you could do a weird thing and get Julius Randle. Like, that doesn't push the needle in any way. You could... Miles Turner doesn't help this team, even though the Pacers are never going to trade him, actually.
Isn't, I mean, there's been some stuff with Trae Young, like, they want him out. Like, maybe you try to link up Trae and Jason. Jason. Like, maybe. I don't know. Like, it could work.
It wouldn't be that bad. Jason wouldn't play this point forward that he kind of plays, so that could maybe work. But, I mean, at this point in time, Jaylen Brown's a way better player than Trae Young.
And that's
the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, because Trae is still elite offensively, but he had a down year, and Jaylen Brown's not that far off offensively from Trae, at least in my opinion. Maybe obviously in like creating, but like in efficiency and all that, he's not that far off. And then like the defensive gap is just massive. I'd rather have Jaylen personally. So I don't know. There's not a lot of guys that kind of fit this because you already have your go-to scorer. So like that's not what you're going to go after. It's a weird league, man. It's a weird league because
unless they don't even try to replace that position, they just try to. I know, like you brought up Phoenix, and you say KD, but maybe it's not KD. Maybe it's like DeAndre Ayton. And
after what we just saw out of Ayton, just get swallowed up by Nikola Jokic without caring for 5 games, 6 games, whatever it was. No,
that's Jokic. That's Jokic, though.
Robert Williams is probably better than DeAndre Ayton at this point, anyway. So no, I'm good.
So I'm just saying I'm throwing stuff out, but I really don't know. I really don't know, and hopefully they do. Hopefully they're seeing things because something has to happen. Because especially if you guys get swept, that is not a good look at all.
At all.
So how do you bring back the same team that gets swept in the conference finals and tell your fans
We're gonna
we
be better
believe in
next
this.
year.
We're gonna be better. We believe in this. Let's go again.
Swept by the 8 seed. Like the easiest series they've had. There's a world where the Heat win this game, and the toughest series they had is against the New York Knicks, who shot 38% as a team in the series. And that actually it was actually a very good series despite like how bad both teams shot. I think those two teams were like really, that was a fun series despite like
It was a great mid-off.
it's a great mid-off. And we expected it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, shout out Jimmy Butler. It sounds like we've been down on the Celtics board and we've been up on the Heat. It's because it's true. We are. I'm very disappointed. Like, I hate the Celtics with every bone in my fiber. This was like, I wouldn't even pray for a downfall like this.
No, that's the thing. We hate them, but we respect like what they have and what they could be. Like we do.
There's too much talent there, man. There's too much talent.
And that's why we're just the way we are right now. Because like, what is y'all doing, baby? Like, come on. Like you just have to be better. You just have to be.
Most teams that don't win, there's like an avenue where we can see improvement. Whether it's even a team like the Timberwolves, where it's like, man, Anthony Edwards was insane. That's who we need to build around. Cool. There's a road where you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Like
the
Warriors, they go get one more guy. They don't need a star. If the Warriors go get one more guy that can score, which they're handcuffed a little bit money-wise, but they go get a guy that can put up 15 a game and space the floor a little bit, but also be able to create off a dribble, Warriors might be great next year. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. Or they might just need Andrew Wiggins for a full year. Might just be that. Like, there's a path. The Suns, get a good draft class and hope they're effective. Like, get a little bit deeper. There's a route. Or, like, somehow get rid of that Chris Paul contract, which will not happen, sadly.
No.
The Knicks need a shooter. Get them a shooter. They'd be up 3-0 against this Boston team right now. So there's routes. Maybe not for the 76ers. I think they might be cooked at this point.
They're cooked. Harden's on the way out.
Yeah, so they might be cooked. I mean, cooked's a strong word because you have Joel Embiid on that team, and
it really all depends who they get as a coach. Because I do think a lot of their struggles are also with that as well.
You've seen way worse rosters win championships.
Yeah.
Nick Nurse took a pretty young and like kind of a weird Raptors team and made the impossible happen. So maybe he would be good there. I don't know. But I expect also, I don't know why I always forget the new Celtics head coach's name because I just don't care about him. I expect him to get fired if they get swept as well. Or even if they gentlemen swept, I expect him to get fired. Because this series is on him at the end of the day. There was just no adjustments. This was bad. If this was a year-long coaching tryout, he failed. He didn't make the team. Yeah. And this will be the most amount of high-quality teams with head coaching vacancies maybe in the history of sports, like American sports. Because you'll have the 76ers open, Boston open, then you'll have the Suns open, you'll have the Bucks open. Those are top four teams in their respective conferences.
The Knicks should be open too. Get rid of Tibbs.
Tibbs wasn't the issue. They didn't shoot well. I agree. I agree. Like,
I don't think he was the issue either, but I don't think he fits the team. That's it.
When you see like Mike Budenholzer like available, like you just go get him. So I feel you. I hear you.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Sometimes you don't have to be the bottom of the barrel to get fired.
don't let a girlfrind stop you from finding a wife. That's the saying. It's not a good saying.
Exactly.
I hate it, but it's kind of
It's a
funny.
great saying. You could be happy. Go find happiness.
Go find happiness. You could be having fun.
Don't just be happy. Go find happiness.
Exactly. And I mean, that's Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown. Don't let your girlfriend stop you from finding your wife. I don't know how that works. Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Can we get some weird, goofy trade where like Jaylen gets sent to the Timberwolves for Cat and like a bunch of picks? You send like 2 firsts and Cat over to the Celtics. I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Tell me that doesn't make both teams better.
It does.
If Cat like comes and plays well, which I assume
But
he will.
I do not think Cat could handle being in Boston.
Yeah, he'd be getting yelled at.
That boy.
He's also had a rough go, so like I wouldn't. Yeah. Again, also instant KD or KG, like you'd have to live up to that, and that's not fun. And
yeah, I don't see Cat being able to have that dog in him with like a big market team like that.
That's fair.
I just don't.
That's fair.
No hate on him. Like,
but I feel like that could maybe be a route. It's like the only one I can think of. I don't know. That would help both teams a lot too. I think the Timberwolves would get way better with Jaylen Brown than Cat. Which is why I think they would have to give him more picks too. Like they'd have to give up a bunch. I don't know.
But once again, we go into a soap opera offseason for the NBA.
Yeah. Oh, again, just the coaching vacancies. Now, once you start getting new coaches, you're gonna start seeing some guys request trades behind closed doors, and then trades are gonna happen because now all of a sudden Budenholzer's the coach of the Suns, and he's like, "Yeah, DeAndre Ayton, you suck," and he gets him out of there. So, I mean, that's just how that goes sometimes. But we will have a pretty surprising NBA Finals with the Heat and the Nuggets coming up whenever those become official. And again, I will eat a boot, not a boot. I will eat a shoe on here if next week I come in and it is Nuggets Celtics. I will, because the Lakers ain't winning that one. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So if anybody's doing it, it will be the Celtics. They ain't going to either. But
I agree.
So I'll get the barbecue sauce and the salt ready for the shoe if that happens. But Heat Nuggets will be a weird one. I don't like the Heat at all in there.
I don't either.
Stack with you. I don't like the Heat at all.
If the Heat are able to make that happen, you're the best team of all time.
Well, not the best team of all time. The best run of all time.
No, you're the best team of all time. Okay. You're the best team of all time.
It would be the best run of all time, though. That means they would beat a 1 seed, a 5 seed, a 2, and a 1. And they would have beaten the 3 best records in the league in doing that.
Yeah, and that's as impressive as it can get.
Yeah. And I did see a quick TikTok before we get out of here that gave me a quick history repeating itself that I liked, and I wanted to share real quick.
Yeah.
The New York Knicks are the only team to make the finals as an 8 seed. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They beat the 1 seed. They won their next round. They beat the 2 seed. They made the finals. Who did they play in that finals? The San Antonio Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
The San Antonio Spurs, in their entire existence as an organization, had never been to the finals until they faced the New York Knicks. The Spurs now have 5 or 6 championships, and it was the beginning of a 20-year-long playoff consistently making the playoffs, having several Hall of Famers, and becoming one of the best dynasties in sports ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that the Denver Nuggets are going to become the San Antonio Spurs and Mike Malone will become Greg Popovich and Jokic becomes Tim Duncan and Jamal Murray becomes Tony Parker. I'm not saying that. But it's really, really similar is all that I'm saying. It's their first time ever. They've never been. They have an all-time great already at power forward, center, whatever you call him. And Jamal Murray is a damn good guard that can
How
go
many
get a bucket.
years has Jokic been in the league?
I think 7 or 8. It's an easy search.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
I'm pretty sure 7.
From 2016. So
Quick maths is 7. I'm so good. Okay. Yeah. So.
And how long
Oh, no.
into their career?
Oh, no.
I'm just connecting the dots here. I want to see how long Timmy and the boys were in the league before they made it to the finals.
It was the 98 team, so
98.
yeah.
So first year.
It was, but we're not looking at Tim. We're looking at David Robertson.
You're right.
I said David Robertson, the pitcher. Wow.
I'm boy in baseball mode.
I am in baseball mode, honestly.
Okay, so he was around for a little minute before that. Okay. It was 10 years. He didn't play his first 2 because Navy. So salute. But
I'm just saying. Aaron Gordon is Tim Duncan confirmed.
All right, well, that's all we got for today. Yeah, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Spectators Media. Please do, because do not listen to another second of this.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Go follow us at Spectators Media. We'll be back next Monday, and hopefully we'll be like 3 games into the finals by that point. So we'll see you guys next time, and take it easy.